Business Breakfast on Jazz FM.
It's 6:19, so exactly a year since the first lockdown, and while some of us saved money during the pandemic, many others have gone into serious debt. Prior to COVID-19, the Money Advice Service estimated that 8.3 million people in Britain were in debt, but more recent statistics suggest this number has nearly doubled. Jonny Hart spoke to Mac Dronfield from debt advice charity Debt Free London.
There's many people falling through the gaps, and for our services we've been commissioned since 2006 to provide free and impartial debt advice, and we've always offered before the pandemic our advice face to face, and we've clearly had to close our face to face centres. So particularly those that are older or might speak English as a second or third language that really benefit, we're really worried that they're falling through the gaps and knowing where to turn to get that free and impartial advice.
At the height of the pandemic, your charity saw a 65% reduction in requests for your services. That might be a surprising figure to some. Why did that happen?
It is perhaps surprising. However, during this time, emergency measures such as the government's furlough scheme and payment holidays on rent and credit card bills will have given people the impression of financial security, putting their families' health, rightly so, as their top priority. However, these measures really have given people a false sense of security. Concerningly, it seems that those that are struggling with debt might be burying their heads in the sand and not thinking about these debts right now. As you said, last summer we saw that 65% reduction in requests for our support, but we know now, as the Chancellor announced a few weeks ago, furlough will end in September, and those other measures are due to end even before that. So we really do want to encourage any of your listeners that might have a money worry and not feel comfortable about speaking it with their friends and family to reach out and get free and impartial help and deal with it as soon as possible before these measures stop.
As you said, some people perhaps burying their heads in the sand. We've all done it. We've all not opened that bank statement or a credit card bill. Do you think it's more the case because some people are being allowed to go into more debt because the credit card companies are taking the pandemic into account and not pressurising those in debt to pay?
Most of our clients come to us with a debt that they've come into through no fault of their own. It might be that a recent health issue has made them not be able to work, or they might have lost their jobs, as those 700,000 people have done since the pandemic. If you've never been in a financial situation where you've had to deal with debts and deal with these creditors, you don't know where to turn, you don't know how to deal with those debts, and you don't know who to ask for help. That is the main message here. Reach out and get expert help to support you.
It is a year since lockdown started, isn't it? I suppose the big question is what happens when the furlough and support schemes end? I mean, they can't go on forever, these emergency measures. Is this a ticking time bomb, do you think?
Unfortunately, I do think that is the case. The most common types of debt that we help with remain council tax bills and rent arrears, all housing costs. We count those as priority debts because obviously you don't pay those bills, your accommodation is at risk. If you've lost your job or if you've lost your income, this is going to be the first thing that you need to fix and liaise with your landlord or your mortgage provider to fix that right. From our stats, the vast majority of the clients that come to us in the past 12 months, nearly 90%, live in rented accommodation. And since the pandemic, we've seen a 92% increase in clients looking for work or registered unemployed. We are expecting a 200 to 300% increase in demand for our services in future. And at the moment, we have capacity to deal with that and to support everybody that rings through to our free phone number. But we are worried if people wait, there will be this avalanche of clients needing our support and there'll be long delays for them to get that.
Matt Dronfield there from Debt Advice Charity talking to Debt Free London. 6:23.